Hi, my name is Gordon and I'm the co-founder of Gimeo, which is a free email signature generator. I've been making email signatures for a really long time, and over the years I've seen people make so many mistakes when they're creating their email signatures. In this video, I want to cover dark mode and email signatures. How does dark mode affect email signatures and how you can optimize your email signature to not only look great in light mode, but also dark mode too. But first, what is dark mode? Well, dark mode was first introduced by Apple in 2018, and it was introduced in order to try and limit the amount of blue light exposure that people get, which can be bad for your health. Which brings me on to the next question. How does dark mode affect email signatures? Well, dark mode can affect email signatures in a number of different ways. One, it'll change the text color that's in your email. So if you have dark text, it'll change it to light, but that's not always the case. I will explain a little bit more about that later on in the video when I show you how to optimize your email signature for dark mode. The same thing can also be said for separators or borders. It sort of behaves the same way as text. So dark borders will often be changed into light color. And the last part is that if you have an image, or if you have multiple images in your email signature that don't have a transparent background, you'll see the white background on that image because the rest of the email will be dark and you'll see the white background. So it doesn't look really good in dark mode to have an image that's not transparent. And I'll show you how to make your image transparent in the part where I show you how to optimize your email signature for dark mode. Before we get started though, I want to run through a few quick tips with you that's related to email signatures in dark mode so you get a better understanding of how dark mode affects email signatures, which will help you optimize it later on. So firstly, dark mode is not controllable. You can't control how dark mode works. You can turn it on and off for your own email client, but you can't turn it on and off for your recipient's email client, which means you don't know whether your email signature is going to be shown in dark mode or light mode, which means you have to have both versions of your email signature working correctly. You also cannot use CSS media queries. A lot of web designers use media queries in order to manipulate how styles are shown in certain circumstances. You can't do that with email signatures, unfortunately, because when you paste your email signature into your email client, the email client basically wipes out the styles that you've put in because the email client wants you to use their styles. The other point is that dark mode is different for every email client. So some email clients have dark gray dark mode, some have a black dark mode, and others have a different color dark mode. So not all dark modes are the same color dark. The next point is that you shouldn't focus only on one mode and not the other. It's kind of like, wearing Gucci during the day and a cardboard box at night. That was terrible. Okay, and the last part is that you shouldn't use an image as your whole email signature. There are many, many downsides to this. One of them being that most email clients actually block the download of images. So if you use an image as your whole email signature, your recipient will most likely just see a blocked image. They won't be able to see your name or your phone number or anything like that, which also means they can't click on any links as well in your email signature, because there just simply are no links, it's just an image. So now I'm going to show you how you can optimize your email signature for dark mode. But before I do, the next section does get a little bit technical, so you will have to edit HTML code and CSS code. So if you're not too confident doing that, what I would suggest is going over to Gimeo to create your free email signature. It only takes about 2 minutes to make a really nice looking email signature. We've got tons of templates you can choose from. I'll leave a link in the description below, so you can just click on it and go check it out. Now, let's go take a look at how you can optimize your email signature for dark mode. All right, so before we get started, what you'll need is a good text editor, such as Sublime Text, which is what I use for editing HTML or any other one that you prefer. You'll need a good image editing software. I'm using Photoshop myself, but you can use any image editing software that can sort of change the background of an image if you're planning on doing that today. I'm using Google Chrome, which I'll be using to inspect Element and a couple of other things, but most browsers should have the same functionality anyway. I'm on Outlook for Windows, so and that's just to show you how the signature looks when it's converted to dark mode. But again, if you're in Outlook for Mac or if you've got Apple Mail, they all have the same sort of functionality, so you'll be able to follow along. I'm also using a couple of email signature templates, which I've downloaded for free from Gimeo, and I've modified them for this example, so they're not optimized for dark mode. What I might do is I'll include a link in the description below where you can download these free templates and you can modify them and use them as you wish. Okay, so the first thing I'll show you is just how to actually turn on dark mode in Outlook so you can see what your signature looks like in dark mode. What you do is you just go click on File at the top and then go to Office Account. And then where it says Office Theme, the default is colorful. Just click on black and it should change everything to dark like it has here. And then you'll be able to test dark mode. Okay, so I'm just going to change it back into light mode again. And I'll paste a email signature in here that I've prepared earlier. So this is one of the signatures here. And if I just open up the HTML file. Now, when I open up the HTML file, all I need to do is press Control A or Command A if you're on Mac. That selects all. And then Control C to copy or Command C, which copies the signature. And then I can paste it into Outlook. So I'm just going to show you how it looks in light mode. So in light mode, it looks pretty normal, basically, the same as what it does in the browser. But now what I'll do is I'll just change Outlook to dark mode and I'll show you what it looks like in dark mode. All right, and as you can see see the white. I'm not sure why this subject is in white. That might just be a glitch with Outlook, but the image here is completely, it's got a white background and doesn't look really good in dark mode. And you can see the social icons, same thing. They've got a white background, doesn't really look great in dark mode. And so that's obviously one of the things that dark mode changes. You can also see the text here in the browser. It's like a dark gray, and over here it's changed to a light gray text. So this is something that dark mode has changed. You can see the same things happened with actually all the text, but this bluish, purplish, more, I guess, blue text has changed to a lighter blue text. And yeah, these are the things that dark mode will change. So with social icons, I won't show you how to change the background on those today because they're quite small and they're readily available. So it's not really worth spending time changing the background to be transparent on them. You can just download them. In fact, what I might do is I'll just include a link in the description below where you can download our free social icons from our website, and they've all got transparent backgrounds. Okay, so now I'll show you how to how to look at all of the HTML code in the signature and where to change things. Actually, what I might do before I do that is I'll just show you the earlier on I said that dark colors always get changed to light colors, except in certain circumstances. So I'll show you an example where this is a signature which has a light green color, and this gets changed to a dark green when it's in dark mode. I'll just show you that now. There we go. So as you can see, the text here is a light green, but when it's in dark mode, dark mode's change it to a dark green. And that means that dark mode doesn't always change text to a lighter color. Sometimes it does change it to a darker color. So we basically shouldn't always rely on the fact that text always gets changed to a lighter color. Okay, anyway, I'll show you now where you can edit the HTML. So if we go back into this template here, and I might just right click on this HTML file and open with Sublime Text, or you can just choose whatever text editor you're using. Okay, and you can see the HTML code here. Now, the best way to find colors is to actually do a Control F to find, and then type in just a hash, because colors are hex colors and they start with a hash. So you can see here, that it's found a color, and this is a color for the kind regards. So we don't want that one. We can just have a look at a few of the other ones. So this one's the color for the name, Bobby Dylan. And you can see that that's the hex color code there. Now, just to give you a bit of an idea of how this works. So this Bobby Dylan is inside these span tags here. And basically these span tags have a style assigned to them, which is this part here. And the style basically says how this bit of text here should be styled. So it says that the font family is Arial, and it's got a fallback font of Helvetica, and so on. And then it's got the size of the font and the style, the font style, and everything else, which obviously includes the color as well. So if you're not too sure what color you want to use in here for any text, there is a good tool you can use. I'll just open up my browser and I'll go hex color picker. There it is. And what you can do with this is you can basically pick whatever color you want using these sliders here. And it will show you the color here on the left, and this is the hex code here. So if you wanted to use, you can see the hex code changing as I drag things around. Yeah. So if you wanted to pick a specific color to use in your email signature, you just use this tool here and you can find the hex code. So if I was to copy this hex code and then paste it in here, like so, this Bobby Dylan would now be this purple color here. And I'll just save this file, and I'll just show you as an example. I'll just open up the HTML file. And you can see that it's changed that same color, and that's how easy it is. I'll just change this color back now. Control Z, okay, and I'll save it. I might actually show you another way of getting the hex color code, which is my preferred way actually. If you open up the HTML file, you can just right click on the name. So right click on it and click on inspect. And then you'll see this inspect element part show up here. Now on the right hand side, you'll see a color. So you can just click on this color picker here and you can just change the color, and you can see on the actual name, it's changing as I drag it around. So if you're not sure what color you want in, for certain parts of your signature, and this is actually a really nice and easy way to test it out to see how it looks with the rest of your signature. This obviously won't take effect in the actual file because any changes you make in here are not saved on your signature. So if I was to refresh the page now, it goes back to that same color because these changes that I'm doing here are not written to that bobbydylan.html file. They're just being inspected. The colors are just being inspected, and we're just changing things just for this instance of this HTML file being opened. Now, I'll also show you where you can find this image here. So if we go back to the file, just do Control F again, and this time just search for a lowercase, not a lowercase, sorry, a less than symbol, and then IMG. That's how images are basically represented in email signatures. So you can see there's an image here, and it's got a height and width, and then it's got logo old.png. So if we go back to where our files are here, you'll see logo old right here. And basically that logo old is the image that it's using in the signature. Now, normally this would probably be a long URL, like this logo would probably be hosted somewhere on a website. So then when you send someone an email, they'll be able to download that logo. But for this instance, I'm just putting it on my local storage here. So just easier to do for this example, but most likely you'll have a long URL here, which you would need to update once you've updated your logo. You'd need to re-upload your logo and then change the URL here. Okay, now I'll show you how you can add a transparent background to your images, such as the logo that we saw in the earlier test. But I always suggest that if you've got a graphic designer that's created your logo for you, they will most likely have a Photoshop file where the logo has different layers to it, where you can just remove the background and you'll preserve all of your, all of the qualities of your logo, and there won't be any loss there. Whereas when we remove the background, the way I'll show you today, there may be some, color loss or some loss in your logo. So it's not always advisable to do it this way. You should only do it this way as a last resort if you don't have the original Photoshop file where all the things are layered. Right, so what we'll do first, I might just delete this logo new because that's the one I created a bit earlier. So we'll open up Photoshop first, and then we'll go back to our file and we'll go to logo old because that's the one that our HTML file is using here. You can see logo-old.png, and we'll grab that and we'll drop it into Photoshop. Okay, and the first thing we'll want to do is unlock this background on the right hand side here. Okay, now we'll just zoom in so we get so it's a bit clearer. And over here on the left hand side, you've got a bunch of tools here basically. If you right click here, you'll be able to select which one of these selection tools you want to use. And one we want to use is Magic Wand tool. And then click on your layer, and then we'll just click on that white part of the image, and you can see that it's selected all the parts that are around the blue. And then we'll just hit the delete button, and you can see that it's now removed the white part from the layer there. Now what I'll do is I'll press Ctrl D to deselect, and I'll just zoom out a little bit to have a look. Okay, and now what I'll do is I'll add a background to it like so, and I'll make it black. Okay, now there's a background, or it's actually in the foreground now. And the way we make it into a background is we drag the rectangle to be below layer 0. So it's a background now, as you can see. Okay, you can see that we've missed a few spots where the holes are, so in the P and the E and the A. We'll zoom back in again, and then we'll grab the Magic Wand tool again, and we'll just click on layer 0 here, and then click on the middle here, and then again we'll press delete, click in the middle of the E, press delete, and the A. There are little spots here you can see as well. So what I'll do is I might just zoom into them and have a look what's going on. Okay, I'll just grab this selection tool here, and what I'll do is I'll actually delete that little part there and this part here. Oops. This pixel here. Delete that one, and we'll delete this one as well, and then I'll show you how you can fix these little bits up. Okay, so put this one down the bottom. I'll just see if that's all of them actually. Oh no, there's another one here. Delete there as well. Okay, so with the P here, we'll just select the pixel underneath it. Make sure you got the layer 0 selected, and then press Ctrl C and then press Ctrl V to paste that, and then you'll go back to your move tool here and then just press up, and what that's done is that's copied the data from this pixel here, and we've just pasted it and moved it into here, so that it looks a little bit better basically. Might do the same thing with this one here, so copy that one, oops, select the layer, copy that one and paste it, and then we'll move it down here so you can see it looks a bit better, and just quickly do the other ones as well. Now when you're copying these, you make sure you've got the original layer selected, because obviously if you don't, the program doesn't really know, if you don't have that layer selected, there's nothing to copy possibly. So all right, so that should look a bit better. If I just zoom out a bit. Okay, there's one more here in the M. Yeah, okay, so we'll just do the same thing, but this time I'll grab the blue one here because it's probably the most similar to what we want, and we'll paste it and just add it there so it doesn't look so white. Zoom back out again. That's starting to look a lot better now. Now what I'll do is I'll add another background just so I can see how it looks like in white mode. And again, we'll just drag this to be below layer 0, because if you just imagine these are layered one on top of each other, so if you put the white on top of it, it'll go over the top of the logo. Okay, and I can see that the logos has lost a little bit of data. It does look a little bit thinner, so when we were doing the magic wand tool, it has removed some of the blue part of the logo, so it does look a little bit thinner. So with the magic wand tool, you can actually select the tolerance here. So I've got it set to 1, so it basically tries to retain as much as it possibly can. All right, so now you can toggle between white and dark just to see how your logo looks with both backgrounds. So now I would say the logo is actually quite close to being ready for dark mode. Now this logo is quite light in color. So generally, because it's fairly light, the blue is fairly light, you don't really need to add anything else to make it look good in dark mode. This should look fairly good now. If this logo was a little bit darker rather than being this light blue, you might want to put like an outer glow onto it, which wouldn't make a difference if you're looking at it in white mode, but it would make a fairly big difference when you're looking at it in dark mode. I'll show you what that looks like now. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to select layer 0 and hold shift and select all the other layers, and then right click on them and then click on convert to smart object, and then right click on it again and then click rasterize layer. Okay, now what you want to do is double click on it, and then you'll see a bunch of these layer styles come up. You can just click on outer glow and then make sure it's ticked there. And you can change these settings, so you can see, on the image on the left, you can see that it does make some difference. So what you could do is something like this. So for example, if you had if this light blue was dark instead of being light, you have this white outer glow on it. So when it's in dark mode, it would still be visible, which looks kind of pretty good in my opinion if you've got a dark logo. It makes it stick out a little bit more so it's visible. But in this case, we don't actually need this because the logo is fairly light anyway. So we'll just turn those effects off and we've got our logo again. Now, when you go to save this file, make sure you undo this eye symbol here so it's not visible for both the white background box and the black background box. So all you see is a transparent background like so. And then you want to save it as a PNG file. So to save it as a PNG file, you click on File, Save as a copy, and then we'll just save it here as logo new.png. You click Save. Okay, now it should be saved as logo new, which it is right there. Now I'm just going to show you the difference in the two logos. So you can see the new one here. And I'll show you the old one as well. So just so you can compare the two. So you can see the old one has that white background in it and the new one doesn't. The new one has lost the thickness of the text a little bit. Not too much though, so it is still usable, but like I said earlier, the best way to actually achieve this is if you have the Photoshop file from your graphic designer. They'll have a layer like we just saw in the Photoshop for the white background, which they can just untick and then they can save the logo, without losing any quality. Okay, now that we've made our new logo, we'll just update the HTML file. So normally what you would do now is you would upload this logo-new to wherever you're hosting your images, your logo images for your email signature. And then we'll go back to our HTML file. And all we need to do is, you would normally change the whole URL, but we'll just change logo-old to logo new, and we'll save that. And while we're here, we might just change the social icons as well. And actually, before we do this, I want to give you a quick tip about email signatures and images. So it's always best to compress images that you use in email signatures, because email signatures should be as small as possible. They shouldn't have large images in them, which take a long time to get transferred and all that sort of stuff. So a good way to compress images is to use a program called TinyPNG. So all you need to do is you just grab the image like this one and drag it into here, and it just compresses it. Click download. And I'm just going to overwrite the old image. So you can see here that it's the original size of it is 7.13 kilobyte. And now we'll see when we replace it, it's gone to 1.61 kilobytes. That's a pretty big reduction in size, which is what you want. Okay, so we'll go back to the HTML file now. So we've changed logo new.png, and we also want to change the social icons as well. I've got the transparent ones here. Like I said, just it's not worth your time making the transparent background on these icons. You're better off just simply downloading them for free. I'll put the link in the description and you can grab them. So I'll just change the images for those in the file as well. So I'll just search again for less than symbol and then image. So we've got Facebook old here. We'll just make it Facebook, and we've also got this one here, Twitter old, and LinkedIn old, and we'll save that with a Control S or Command S if you're on Mac. And now what we'll do is go back to the HTML file here, and we'll just refresh it because we've made changes to that file. So now it should look really good in dark mode. So we'll again do Control A and then Control C to copy it, and we'll go back to our Outlook and we'll go new email. And there we have it. It looks a lot better than the old one. It doesn't have the white background on that logo image. And it also doesn't have the white background on the social icons either. You can see that the social icons are cut off on the ends on the right-hand side. This is completely normal for Outlook. When you're composing an email in Outlook, Outlook will automatically chop off the last little bit of any image on the right-hand side. This is completely normal. However, when you send the actual email, if you go into your sent items, the image will look correct. It's just a problem with how email signatures look in Outlook when the email is being composed. Now, I'll just check that the signature looks good in light mode as well. So I'll just go back into File and then Office Account and Office Theme Colorful. And it looks great. It looks just as good as it did before. It takes a lot of trial and error to get an email signature looking right for dark mode. Like I said earlier, the most important things you could do is to change the background of your images to be transparent, and also just to have a look at your font colors to make sure they look good when they're converted to dark mode as well. Changing things in your HTML file can be a little bit daunting for some users, and that's completely understandable. We do this on a day-to-day basis, so it's kind of easy for me to go through here and change things, but there are a lot of people that are not comfortable changing code, and that's completely understandable. If you're one of those people, what I would suggest doing is going and using an email signature generator such as Gimeo. We've got a lot of templates you can choose from, and they're for all different types of industries, and you can change a lot of different settings in these email signatures. And best of all, you won't have to edit any HTML code whatsoever. You simply click on this thing that you want to edit, such as the name here, and you go to field style and location, and you can change the text color just here on the left-hand side, or you can change the size of the font or the actual font, or make it bold or italic. There's heaps of settings you can change for every single field, and it makes sense to use a good email signature generator if you've got a team of people that you need to create email signatures for, rather than editing HTML code yourself. And that is how you optimize an email signature for dark mode. If you liked the video, give us a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button to keep up to date with all of our latest email signature know-how. Thanks very much for watching, and see you next time.